Watching Sunday Morning Matters on KC24, your local election headquarters.
Well, Mayor Pete Buttigieg winning over Democratic voters here in the Valley from his live town hall at Fresno State that was seen nationwide. But did he win over our panel? We welcome back in Bill McEwen, Philip Teresi, and Tate Hill. And, you know, I really want to start with this. And Philip, maybe you being the one conservative in the group here, he's smooth, he's funny, he's politically savvy. Did Mayor Pete win you over a little bit?
I think that Pete and Chasten would make fantastic neighbors. I would love to go to dinner with them.
Yeah?
There's not a snowball's chance that I would vote for him for president of the United States.
But you got to, and Tate, you got to admit, he answered everybody's question up front. He did not seem like he was uninformed about all the issues that he was asked. Now, a lot of town halls are planned that way. They vet the questions a little bit more. But were you impressed by him?
I mean, I think he has a good platform. You know, it's very similar to the general Democratic platform. He says all the right things, and you know, sometimes when I see him, it's should I be voting for him or should I be buying his album? I mean, it's the brand
right.
is really great, but
he's got shtick.
Yeah, he does. He does. And, you know, he hits a bunch of different demographics. I mean, I think he relates to people in Fresno in the sense that he comes from a mid-sized town. And he does provide some appeal, but he's also in the same race with folks like Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and a number of others. And will that appeal reach into the bigger cities where a lot of the voters are also?
Bill, I'll come to you. Mayor Pete's, and we talked about this with Marcia, as you heard, Mayor Pete's approval rating shot up when he revealed he was gay in 2015. He gets that re-election by 80% of the vote just a few months later. But I asked her if this was 10 years earlier or even back maybe in 2010, would we see an openly gay candidate run for president? What's your response to how maybe times have changed?
Well, I think times have changed definitely. In 2010, it'd be 2008. I would say the answer would be definitely not. So it represents progress. What I see with Mayor Pete is, and I described him this way in my column on GV Wire, is that he's a policy wonk with charisma. And if you try and put your finger on what it is that makes him so likable, I don't know that you can check off any boxes. It's just everything together, it works. A lot of political analysts believe that he's positioning himself for a future run. And obviously that could be in 4 or 8 years, depending on what happens. I think the other thing with the Democratic Party is what happens with Gavin Newsom as California governor. If he's able to continue California's economic engine and solve some of these huge problems, he'll be the overwhelming front runner in the future for the Democratic Party.
I want to turn our attention to something that happened this week. 2 council members went to D.C. Now, they were there as part of to see the DREAM Act be voted on the House floor, but they also got a chance to meet with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Esmeralda Soria and Miguel Arias were able to extend an olive branch and some Grizzlies swag. This is what they said about it.
She was very appreciative that we were there to, personally apologize. We told her about some of the negative results of the incident in terms of loss of sponsorships, and she thought it was regrettable.
And of course, this is the deal where they got this photo op with AOC. They were able to the Grizzlies FedExed over a shirt and some other swag here. Philip, I'll start with you. Good photo op, but again, this is on taxpayer dollars. Now, they have an office budget that they can travel with. They said that they use this, but during a time where we should be maybe looking at the mayor's budget, they were trying to smooth things over with AOC and maybe do some other lobbying for some other initiatives.
I'm real curious to hear what they were actually doing, because there is no way that going to issue an in-person apology to a congresswoman from the Bronx who was pretty much unaware of the existence of the city of Fresno until somebody tweeted her that a person did a mean thing at a baseball game benefits the people of Fresno in any way.
Well, you could argue that. I don't think it really does, except it smooths things over. Maybe it looks Fresno saying, hey, we want to really smooth things over. We want to do the right thing. A lot of people saying this is, the mayor didn't even really know about this. They don't have to tell the mayor that they're going. He's not, the mayor isn't their boss, but still, wouldn't you like to tell the mayor, Bill?
So this is just politics, and you said it was a photo op. It's not a photo op for the Fresno Grizzlies or the city of Fresno. It's a photo op for Soria and Arias, and it's strictly a political stunt, and it might have had some value if AOC had said something definitively like, I understand a person made a mistake, you know, I don't like to be cast in this light, but guess what, folks? Let's get real. Things like this happen. And by the way, I hope they get some new sponsors. I mean, if they had come back with her on camera with a statement, instead we get secondhand information. We get their characterization of what was said. So this is only for the benefit of the two council members.
Tate, are you okay with them taking their office budget, taxpayer money, to do this trip? And seemingly, they had told me that they were also there to talk about some appropriations bills that are in the works. I think a lot of those are cooked at this point. I mean, there could be other things that are in the works, but still, it's what came out of it. It's the picture of them with AOC. You okay with it?
Well, I mean, I think there's always better uses of city resources. At the same time, I think AOC has a very tough skin. I mean, she's used to this kind of scrutiny. But at the same time, I think it's important for Fresno and its leaders to make sure that we have a good image, not only here in California, but throughout the United States. And, you know, this kind of negative press is something we just don't need.
You're looking at me, I don't know, you give me that, I got 10 seconds really. I mean,
this would have made a lot more sense if they had taken Derek with them, Derek Franks from the Fresno Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Then it would have made perfect sense. Bill's point about get the Congresswoman saying, I understand mistakes happen, I hope that they find new sponsors. This was for Miguel, this was for Esmeralda, this was not for Fresno, and this was not for the Grizzlies.
all right, guys, good stuff. We appreciate you being here as always.